Are you having difficulty studying a certain subject? Well, if you are, would you be interested in doing a little exercise technique to help you feel more comfortable about doing or learning more about that subject that you're having difficulty studying? If you are, continue watching. You've nothing to lose, a few minutes time to give it a go. So, when you think about studying a certain subject, what word pops into your head of how you feel about that subject? Because there's other subjects that you study and you enjoy studying, but other people don't. So what word would you describe that subject with that you don't like studying? Now that you have that word in your mind, I want you to do something with me. It may seem a little silly, but as I said, it's worth a few minutes of your time to feel better about what you want to study or need to study. So I want you to tap along here. Now I don't know what words you have. Everyone has a different word to describe what they don't like. But I want you to tap along here and say these words out loud after me while you're tapping. Just because I have that word of how I feel about studying that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that word about studying that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that word that describes how I feel about that subject I need to study, I'm okay. That subject I need to study, that word, that subject I don't like, that subject I don't like, that subject I need to study, that subject I need to study, that subject I need to study, that subject. Take a deep breath in and release that now. Now I want you to think about studying that subject. Really having to study that subject. Now if you were to put a name of a feeling you feel about it or an emotion you feel about studying that subject, what would it be? Now that feeling or emotion, I want you to measure on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 the worst you feel about that subject and that word to describe it or that feeling. Now whatever number pops to mind is the right number. So it's that little voice in your head that seems distant in the background sometimes that allows that to pop to mind. Just like that voice in your head that goes, I hate this subject. What number pops to mind when you think about having to do that subject, 10 being the worst, 0 being the least? Now with that number, I want you to do exactly what we did before, while saying after me and doing exactly as I'm doing. Just because I have that number of distaste of doing that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that number of dislike about doing that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that number of fear of doing that subject, I'm okay. That number of fear, that number of dislike, that subject, I hate that subject, that subject. Take a deep breath in and release all that now. Excellent. Now this time, I want you to think about doing that subject, the emotion, word to describe it. Again, measure 0 to 10. What number pops to mind of doing that subject? Now with that number, we're going to go again, the same thing again. Just because I have that remaining number of dislike about that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that remaining number of dislike about that subject, I'm okay. Just because I have that remaining number of dislike about that subject, I'm okay. That remaining number, 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 that remaining number. Now, I want you to tap in here as well with that saying that remaining number, and it's in between the little finger and ring finger Either hand, that's okay. Tap away that remaining number. And as you tap away, I want you to look down at the floor without moving your head and roll your eyes gradually up to the ceiling. Very good. Take a deep breath in and release that now. Now, hopefully after doing that and thinking about doing that subject, you feel a little more attracted to doing that subject, which will make it easier for you to study and get better results.